up here tonight. We got somebody that's a music business professor. We have somebody that's worked in radio, somebody that works with on-camera interviews, and we have somebody that works with print. So you can get kind of a broad scope of the different types of situations you might be in. I want to start off with Donnie, because you're a music business professor.
The name of the program is music business, so you know, that's like mixing oil and water. You know, you have art and then you have business, but you have to have that business side. You must be professional so that they can take you seriously as an artist. All right? If you don't present yourself professionally and give them that air of professionalism, why would they want to risk their investment in you? You know? Plus, it then gives you the credibility of being professional, that they can trust you and know, well, this artist must be savvy or understands the risk that I'm taking as an investor or as an employer. Turning down an interview, sure. I think there's lots of interviews to turn down out there. No, I wouldn't pay for an interview. I don't think that sets a bad precedent. It's a slippery slope, and it's, you know, professional artists that made it, they want to give you that interview. They don't want you to pay them. They just want you to do a good job.
What are some of the pitfalls that you experience with musicians when they're given an interview?
In radio, if you're not talking about college radio, but commercial radio, the chances of you actually getting interviewed or on air would be very, very small, and if anything, it's only going to be 30 seconds. So you have to have a very quick message and a place to send the listener to. The best thing that you could do is have a website, your social media, whatever outlet that you have that sells your music, that communicates your message, that you can send the listener to immediately and get that message out right away is key. I think that's the biggest failure when people do come on. They don't have any talking points. They have nobody wants to have somebody come on that's, you know, they're going to lean back and, yeah, we're from this, and yeah, we're too cool. You know, this isn't television. They can't see how cool you are. And, you know, that doesn't sell on the radio. I mean, and I've had folks like that before, and it's no fun for myself, and it's no fun for the listener. I mean, if you're not a talker, and there's somebody in the band that's the talker, let them lead the way.
You're working in print. Your time is a little different. You still have a deadline to meet, so you definitely have a time constraint on your own. But it's a different dynamic because you have.
I try to make every interview I do more of a conversation. I tend not to go into an interview with 10 questions or 12 questions or something that has to be there. And there's this thing in the movie business called the elevator pitch. Have y'all heard of that? And it's a really good idea for any kind of artist.
Can you explain that?
The elevator pitch traditionally is you get on an elevator, there's a head of the studio there, and you've got 25 seconds to say, okay, it's, this meets that with an influence of this, and I'm really going for this. So you're making it easy for the studio head to kind of file it away properly in their mind. So a good way to do this is, I know musicians tend to be resistant to, say, comparing themselves to other bands. And it's something you're always asked, and it's something really annoying, and I get that. But if you can say, here's what I'm really loving listening to right now, and have something unusual, that's a terrific hook. Like I've been listening to a ton of, children's songs from the 30s, or something that you think is weird and you're kind of nerdy about and you're unsure about. That almost always makes a quote for me. That really helps the journalist. It helps them convey, us convey to the readers, this is what this guy's thinking about. Often when I read music writing and read interviews, unless it's for a really technical audience, sometimes musicians tend to get a little technical. Like, we really took a different approach to the overdubs because we're using this software that, someone who's smart and into music but may not be technical will probably give up reading there.
So Chris, we were talking about this earlier. People walk into a small space, there's a camera, there's lights, and there's a big green screen, and there's 2 chairs, and they freak out. So how do you get past that? How can they get past that, and how do you help them get past that?
But, you know, 9 times out of 10, someone will walk into that same room with me and they just immediately are like, okay, well, where do I sit and where do I look and what do I do? And, you know, just really sort of filled with trepidation. So I do my best to kind of just sit the person down and say, okay, you know, look at me because we're having an interview. We're just going to have a conversation, much like Sarah said, you know, there's someone in your group who is, you know, the strong speaker in your group, then you should definitely let that person or two, however many people it is, you know, have that voice basically for your group. And I feel like we're all sort of saying the same thing, but definitely, you know, what everyone else said, that you guys should for sure have some sort of an elevator pitch.